What's up, everybody? It's Holly Berry's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at Play Arts Kai DC Comics variant Catwoman. And she's pretty cool. She's pretty expensive. We'll talk about all those sorts of things. Comes with a fair amount of accessories. A pistol holding hand that can hold the pistol just fine in her left hand, as you can see. And then she comes with the same hand for the other side, which she can also hold just as fine in the other hand. Both hands are styled the same with this black metallic glossy finish on the top, and then this like skin with some sort of layer of something over top that she has on most of her body here. She comes with these two hands, which are like her normal scratchy hands, and they're just on the same typical style pegs, so you can arm her up with that. She comes with posing hands like this one here. It may be only the one. I'm not seeing another one. That's pretty cool. I like a good posing hand. I'm a sucker for it. She comes with a gripping hand, holding this whip, for instance. The whip itself moves around, but it won't hold a move like a position. So that's a bit of a bummer. It does have this metallic, like kind of spray, like an airbrush finish on it, which looks good enough. And then she has like the two exaggerated cat claw hands, which are fine, I suppose. Same type of finish. The claws are just more of the same metallic finish on there. And then she has a tail. Once again, the tail, same type material, pliable but doesn't hold the pose, and it plugs in back in here, and that's sort of that, and that pretty much covers the accessories. I'll move back in 2 seconds, less than that because of movie magic, to take a look at her. Alright, so let's talk about her. Comes with the display stand as well, typical Play Arts stand. So the head, we got a ball peg. It's a double ball peg from neck to head, and then a single ball peg. Maybe it's a double ball peg from neck to torso. So the head articulation gets you anything you could possibly want. You got this purple translucent lens here, and then the cat ears that are all sculpted, and then they are like hit with an airbrush, it looks like. Spot dead in the center, which looks pretty cool. The hair, it's decently sculpted, not really a whole lot to it, but it's fine. And this one single wisp here looks like this has been washed, and then maybe washed up here for sure, probably washed down here, and then hit with a highlight airbrush down here as well. So it looks good, and then it's on a ball hinge. Soft ratcheted ball hinge, so you can get it close or get it out and it'll hold. Doesn't turn unless you turn the head, but that's okay. And then most importantly, the translucent visor does flip up. Now, I wish it flipped up more, but you can see underneath it's got the cat mask, eyes are painted, lips painted, everything looks good inside there. For me, Catwoman's eyes are a necessity. Like, you have to be able to see her eyes. So initially, I wasn't going to get it when I thought it looked like this, but once I found out that you could flip this up, that's when I was in. But I do wish it went up a bit further, because I feel like her eyes are it's just an important part of her character. Moving down, torso, we got a ball joint here, and then another ball joint at the bottom torso. Now for the upper one, it's really well cut in the front. The chest overlaps, so it doesn't really have any gaps unless you get it to an extreme angle, and then even then it's minor. On the back, there's more of a gap issue, but unless you pose her backwards, that shouldn't bother you at all. The black gloss looks good. The black metallic looks good. The little silver parts are all painted. The purple bits in there. I got a big paint scratch there, so that's a bummer. I just noticed that now for the first time. Paint-wise, everything pretty much looks good in the torso. The chest is a hard plastic. They've been doing some stuff recently, some of these Japanese companies where the chest has been squishy. I'm glad that that's not the case here. Down in here, the purple is airbrushed. Looks like it's washed, at least. Silver's painted on. All the skin tones are all, it looks like, I would say they're washed, but I think that's been hit with an airbrush. Hard to say. For the shoulder, we have soft ratcheted ball hinge. This plastic is soft up here to allow for articulation, but it's still slightly hindered. I mean, not insanely so, but ever so slightly, and then that just pushes back into place. Not my favorite way of doing business, but it's okay. This plastic is cut in there to allow the shoulder joint to get through for a bit of a butterfly once you get around it, so that works fairly well. No bicep swivel, which is weird. You get the swivel at the elbow, which I guess is okay. Sorry about that kid issue. But yeah, so no bicep swivel, which seems a little weird given this company, but I guess it's okay. Actually, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Single jointed elbow on a soft ratchet, which swivels there for your bicep swivel, which is okay. All the paint looks good throughout. We got this black with like the purple tone kind of hit on top, and then this skin color with the darker bits around the edges, which looks okay. Standard issue Play Arts wrist with the soft ratcheted hinge and swivel at both ends, I believe. Yes. So you can get that hand any way you want it. Opposite arm is the same. For the pelvis, you get this tail in here. This, as it connects, there's no movement there, which is just unexpected. And then you got the butt cheeks and then the hips, and these are actually done really well, especially for a standing position. When you start articulating it, it gets a little weird, but it's not the worst I've ever seen. The front is where you have more issues, and it's just a matter of keeping the sculpt of the thigh, especially this one I have found, underneath the sculpt of the pelvis. But once you got it in there, it tends to stay. It tends to stay if you keep it in that position. But once you move it, mine keeps popping out, and then it just throws the sculpt off. Thigh swivel's built into the universal. Not an extreme angle, but okay. This silver is all painted on and looks pretty good. The holster on the thigh holds the gun. Yeah, there's no real way to keep that in there nicely, as a matter of fact, the more I mess with it. So you're just going to have this gap in there, which is a bit unsightly. The holster itself has that black metallic, which looks pretty good. All this stuff is all the texture, everything in there is all sculpted, molded, painted, etc., including those little silver stiletto things that are the clips for this bit here. Really cool design. A bit over the top, but that's kind of par for the course with this line. Ratcheted ball hinges for knees. Decent looking knee, just given the single disc ball hinge for a Play Arts female character, which is pretty cool. And then moving down, the same type of paint continues in with that look, and then you have standard issue ball hinge, giving you the ankle rocker and tilt, depending on how you have it, and then a toe swivel as well, which does come in handy for this figure and the way it's designed. So all in all, articulation is definitely at least fair to good enough. I'm pretty happy with her. I love Catwoman. I mean, my second daughter is named after Catwoman. Like, she's a fantastic character. She's one of my personal favorites. You know, these designs, right? These Play Arts variant designs, they take a lot of liberties. But the character elements about Catwoman that are key, her sexuality, her eyes, her claws, the cat ears, all those things are represented here. So as a result, I feel like it does the figure justice. I feel like it does the character justice. These Play Arts Kai variant designs, they're hit or miss, and they're not for everybody. If they're not for you, I totally get it. Don't start now. If they are for you, this one's pretty good, but she is a bit more pricey. Shout out to my buddy Adam. I run Nerd Rage Radio, a podcast with him, and he's a good dude, and he got me this for a birthday and Christmas gift. My birthday is 2 days after Christmas, so sometimes as a kid I used to get jammed up. Merry Christmas and happy birthday from Aunt Betty. Oh, cheap Aunt Betty. Let's see what's in here. Oh. A Walkman with no rewind. Awesome. But now I make out fairly well. And this was a pretty expensive figure. I think this ran like $140, and he picked them up for me. So I'm, you know, like, that dude's like my best friend in the world. So this figure obviously has an important place in my collection and always will. But on top of that, it is a fairly well-made figure. But it is pricey, and I'm not sure if I understand where the extra price comes in from. Now, the box, you know, I don't show box art, but it has a design by Tetsuya Nomura. Now, I don't feel like they usually include the designers' names. I wonder if that dude is some sort of hotshot and they had to pay him extra, and that's where the extra costs come in, because I don't see anything here specifically that would make me think that this figure should be priced $20 more expensive than, say, the Harley figure, which is fantastic, or the Aquaman figure, or I can't remember what the Hawkman ran. He might have been a bit more expensive. But, you know, you get my point. Most of them have been kind of in the same price range, and I don't feel like there's anything necessarily special about this one that puts her above that price range, even though she's selling at above that price range. But if you're a completionist, if you're a DC fan and you've been getting all the DC variants, this is a great one. It's definitely part of the variant line, but it is something a little different. Like, I think it's supposed to fit more with that one Batman that looks like all futuristic. So you can get away with not picking this up too, but it is a well-made figure, and I feel like it kind of fits the aesthetic perspective that they've been doing with this DC variant line. So if you've been collecting the DC variant line and you love Catwoman, get her. Outside of that, you can probably skip her, but she is a well-made Play Arts figure. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.